A series that I have been so excited to start all year long has been the 7 round team mock draft series. And we're kicking it off today with the Tennessee Titans. We're going to be going in order of the draft order. And since the Tennessee Titans have clinched up the #1 pick, that's where we will be starting. If you guys don't know how this series is going to work, we are going to be doing a 7 round mock draft for every single NFL team leading up to the NFL draft. And I can't wait to get into it. Now, a couple of housekeeping things here. Number one, we will be going off of my board, not necessarily the consensus board. There's going to be players that I take that might not be taken as high as I have them, but it's my mock draft at the end of the day. Number two, there will be trades. The way that this is going to work is I have a separate mock going on my phone on a different mock draft site where the trade machine I think is a little bit better. I will be making moves to move up, move down, try and get some more realism in here. But ultimately, we are going to be sticking to trades. And lastly, be sure to check out my draft guide if you haven't. It's $5 a month. It's incredibly comprehensive, in depth with over 500 prospects. If you guys want to know more about these types of prospects that your team could be taking, I think it's one of the best tools that you could go out and get. It's one of the best pieces of content that I have ever created, and I highly recommend checking it out. Let's go ahead and kick this off with the Tennessee Titans. So as you can see here, the Titans are on the clock at #1 overall, and there's 3 things that I want to address in this draft class. Number one, I want to improve this offense, whether that is improving in the trenches, getting an offensive line. I think right tackle is a glaring hole on this team. I definitely want to upgrade the quarterback spot, and I want to get better receiving options, whether that be a receiver or tight end. I definitely think this offense as a whole needs to be completely rebranded and have a brand new look in 2025. Second thing I want to do, I want to get a dynamic edge rusher. I feel like right now, outside of Harold Landry, they don't have anybody I can trust to consistently win off the edge. And my last thing, I want to get an extra day 2 pick. They've only got one day 2 pick currently at number 35. That's not going to fly. I want to make a move here, probably at number 35 to get that pick and try and get back the 3rd rounder we lost by trading for L'Jarius Sneed. So that's kind of the strategy going into this. But we're at #1, and I know a lot of people are going to talk trade back. It's a weaker quarterback class. You can get better value. I don't know if the Titans are necessarily going to do that. And the reason I say that is they've got a quarterback-needy team, and they have 2 quarterbacks at their disposal that I think could be potential franchise guys. This is a little bit different than the 2022 draft where if teams really wanted quarterbacks, they would move up. I'm not so convinced this quarterback class is that bad. I think there's legitimate first-round talents in this class. And I think there are a couple of them right here. Shedeur Sanders is a name that everyone wants to go ahead and automatically put in all your jersey swaps to the Titans. And I'm going to say pump the brakes on that real quick. It has nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders or his dad not wanting him to play there. I think that narrative is completely stupid. I actually think Cam Ward makes more sense for the Titans. Better athlete, better on his legs. I think he gives you more in terms of his arm talent. The size is a little bit better. He's so calm and collected in the pocket. He's got incredible pocket presence to make plays happen, extend plays with his legs. And I think he has some more of that wow factor to him than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders could be the pick because, for all we know, Brian Callahan could love the traits. He's very similar to Joe Burrow in terms of the intangibles, what goes on right here in his head in terms of how he reads the defense. Very similar to Burrow, but I don't think that the Titans need that kind of quarterback right now. I think they need a guy that can elevate this offense and elevate everyone around him. And I think Cam Ward is the guy for this team. So Cam Ward is going to be the pick. I am not going to be trading back here. I am going to be taking Cam Ward out of Miami to be the future quarterback of the Titans, and I think he could be the answer long term. So the Denver Broncos came calling, and they're willing to move up from their number 51 overall pick to give me 51, 123, and 190. Ignore the 3rd next year and the 7th. We're not going to take that, obviously, into consideration here, but I like this deal for the Titans. You don't necessarily get the day 2 pick back that you were hoping for, but you get a couple of later day 3 picks, and I think you can add a couple of more pieces around the edges. So I'm going to take this deal. Denver is going to move up, and we're going to move back just 16 spots. All right, back on the clock at number 51. Love the way that this board has fallen for us. The receivers seem to be dropping a little bit. We got Isaiah Bond still here. Trey Harris is still here. Not really the receiver I'm looking at right now. On the offensive tackle side, Josh Connerly, I think there's a 0% chance he's here. I would take him. It's unrealistic. I don't want to make that pick. Corner could be interesting. Azariah Thomas out of Florida State could be an interesting piece, but not a one I want to look at. Xavier Watts is still on the board. That's a really intriguing player as well. Incredible ball skills, has been incredibly productive over the last few years for Notre Dame. His tackling has got to improve, and he's not a great run defender, but as a ball hawk on the back end, I don't hate Xavier Watts at number 51. I am going to ultimately I'm going to look at the edge rushers on the board. Yeah, not really any guys I'm in love with. Kyle Kennard here at 51 could be interesting. I actually don't hate this. I would love to move back a second time, but I didn't get any offers this time around. At 51, I am going to go with the receiver, though. I'm going to take Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. This guy has just been an absolute monster. My number 50 overall player on the board. He's 6'4", 210 pounds. He's a really solid route runner in terms of winning that short to intermediate game. The Titans didn't have that guy on this team this year. They didn't have a guy that I trusted to consistently win across the middle, get open. He only had one drop in 2023, and I think only 2 drops in 2024. He was incredible. He might not be the greatest separator in the world, but you have your deep ball threat already in Calvin Ridley. Nick Westbrook-Akine likely not coming back. So Jaden Higgins, to me, is a perfect fit, and I think he's the exact type of weapon that you need a young quarterback to have. So we're going to take Jaden Higgins here at number 51. Back on the clock here at number 102, a few interesting names that immediately caught my eye. At number 1, it is Jared Ivey out of Ole Miss. I mean, this dude is an absolute freak of an athlete, a player that I have a lot of high expectations for at the next level. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. I got a 4th-round grade on him. He transferred from Georgia Tech to Ole Miss to start his career. 2022, he's been at Ole Miss. He might not be the greatest athlete, isn't the most fast or quick edge rusher in the world, doesn't have these elite pass rush moves, but is a great run defender, has terrific upper body strength, showed good anchor against more strong physical tackles, and I thought he played with active hands and had a good bull rush. I think he fits this Titans culture on the defensive side of the ball pretty perfectly, to be completely honest with you. He just feels like a Titan. He's a guy that I have very high expectations for, and I think could be the pick here. The other name I'm looking at is Andrew Makuba out of Texas. The safety class definitely starts to take a little bit of a dip, and I think there is a chance he's on the board here in the 4th round. I think that's probably a little bit less realistic than Jared Ivey being here, so I'm going to take Jared Ivey. I like Makuba. I think he brings versatility to play in the slot, on the back end, good ball skills. Safety is a position we will address relatively high, but right now, I think edge rusher is a bigger need for me, and I think Jared Ivey gives you a little bit of everything. He gives you some power, some run defense, and I think he can play in a variety of alignments, so he's going to be my pick here at number 102. Another trade has been sent my way that I absolutely love. We're going to trade back 15 spots here. We pick again at 123, so it won't make too much of a difference. We're going to move back from 119 to 134, but we're taking our number 240, moving up to 153, moving up almost 100 spots here. It's kind of my thought process. We get an extra prime pick here. I think there's a really good even trade here, so we're going to make this deal with the Giants. We pick again at 123, and I'm going to definitely look at the safeties here on the board. Kamari Ramsey went back to school, so that won't be the move that we make here. There's a couple of pieces I'm intrigued by. Number 1, offensive tackle is a really under-the-radar need. You drafted J.C. Latham relatively high last year. Well, you drafted him at number 7 overall. So I definitely think tackle makes a lot of sense, and particularly a right tackle. There's 3 players here that I absolutely love. Blake Miller out of Clemson is a player that I haven't done a tape study on him this year, but what we have seen from him, it's really good. A great athlete. He's 6'6", 310 pounds. Might need to add a little bit of meat onto the bone, to be honest. He does look a little thin. His anchor could improve a little bit, but he's got good footwork. I thought he was a solid run blocker and exceptional in space, who moved his feet well as a pass protector. Chase Lunt as well out of UConn is one of my favorite players in this draft. Another guy that's a bit undersized, 6'7", 299. Kind of that Roger Rosengarten type of right tackle, but one of the best move run blockers in this class. You get him in space, he is going to make guys absolutely feel the dirt, and he's incredibly athletic. He's light on his feet. He doesn't have great anchor and isn't the best against power, but I think what he brings as a run blocker is really intriguing. Then Ozzie Trapilo out of Boston College is a guy that I have a 4th-round grade on. He got a Senior Bowl invite. Really good player that not a lot of people are talking about. He didn't take the greatest angles as a run blocker. He's dealt with injuries at times, but good athlete. He's got good size and length, brings some pop. We're going to mix it up a little bit. I think Chase Lunt and Blake Miller, they're going to be guys that we take quite a bit throughout this series. But the guy that I want to take here is Ozzie Trapilo out of Boston College. Boston College just seems to always have these good offensive linemen. He's going to be a Senior Bowl guy. I think he's going to really test out well. I'm going to take him here at number 123. Back on the clock at 134. Love the way that this draft is kind of turning out for us right now. We're going to look back at the safety markets. There's some really good safeties down the board in this class that are really exciting to me. Dante Trader out of Maryland. I don't know if he's going to end up getting taken this high. He's obviously a number 163 on the consensus board. I've got a 4th-round grade on him. Great coverage safety. Did a great job of closing lanes. He has sideline-to-sideline speed, is a reliable tackler at the safety position. Maybe not the greatest man coverage safety, has the greatest ball skills. He's dealt with injuries this past year, but I think his tape is really solid. Jalen Reed is kind of the player I am considering, though. He has had one of the biggest rises in this draft class for me. He gets flat-footed in coverage at times. He moves all over, though. He can play in the box. He played high for this Penn State defense this year. I think he's got to improve his tackling technique. He's got to improve at being a better and more willing run defender, but he's got great size at 6'1", 209. He's good in zone coverage. He's got good eyes there. I am going to look at the linebackers here. We pick again at 140. I definitely think we can get a guy that I'm looking at down the board here. I'm going to stick and pick my guy, Jalen Reed out of Penn State. I think he fits this defense. A bigger, more banging body, safety that can come downhill, defend the run, and kind of play all over for you. So I like Jalen Reed here a lot. At number 140 here, there's a certain player I have been wanting for this Titans team since I was sought out to do this, and it is a linebacker here. I definitely think linebacker is a sneaky need for this team. Jack Gibbons was really solid for this team this year. He is a restricted free agent. I don't expect them to let him walk, but he is a free agent. It's worth noting. So I definitely think he is a player to keep your eye on in the free agent market. You got Kenneth Murray. He is on the last year of his deal going into next year. I think you could go upgrade the linebacker room. You brought in Cedric Gray. Didn't play all that much for you, but I really, really like Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon. He's my number 8 linebacker in this class. Really good, disciplined linebacker, particularly in coverage. I thought he moved really well, picked up running backs and tight ends with ease out of the backfield, had good change of direction, came downhill, was a willing run defender, and you could utilize him as a blitzer. He isn't the greatest athlete. I thought his change of direction could be inconsistent. He does need to improve at shedding blocks, but as a guy that can kind of learn this system a little bit, I think he makes a lot of sense. I think what he brings in coverage is a massive boost, and he's one of my favorite players in this class at the linebacker position. Another guy, I'm going to look at the tight ends here. There's some names that are definitely intriguing to me that we might tap into later, but here at number 140, I don't want to overthink this. I'm going to take a guy that I really do believe can be a good linebacker. That's going to be Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon. At number 153, I think the Titans could definitely upgrade their tight end room. I like what you have gotten at times from Chigo Okonkwo. He gives you like this burst of energy, but I'm just unsure if he is a number 1 tight end at the NFL level. I think you need a guy that can be a reliable pass-catching tight end out of the backfield. And there are 2 names that come to mind pretty quickly. Number 1, it's going to be Oronde Gadsden out of Syracuse. This is a guy that is, you could argue, could be a big slot receiver at the next level. He's 6'5", 223 pounds. He was used everywhere. Was used as a tight end, was primarily used in the slots because he is very slim, and I didn't think he was the greatest blocker in the world, particularly in pass pro. I don't really think that's what you're looking for in a pick here. I think you're looking for a guy that can give you some versatility to catch passes out of the backfield, which also means Jake Brenningstool could be a big option here. Another kind of undersized tight end here at 6'6", 230. This is kind of the range I have both of them. For receiving purposes, I think Gadsden's a little bit better. I think he's got better hands. He's a good route runner, can separate. Just continue to add weapons around Cam Ward. I think Gadsden makes a lot of sense here at number 153, and he's going to be the pick for me. At number 166, we're back on the clock here, and I definitely would like to take a look at the interior offensive linemen in this draft class. We're sitting here we're sitting in the fifth round, I believe. Yes, one of the final picks here, the fifth round at 166. We've got to improve the interior of this line. Peter Skoronski took a nice step in the right direction this past year for the left guard of the Titans. Lloyd Cushenberry dealt with injuries. That right guard spot is still a bit of a suspect pickup, and you've got to improve it. I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility. I think there's some solid options here that not a lot of people are going to be discussing. Jonah Monheim has played everywhere in his career for USC. He's played guard, center, tackle, anywhere you wanted to play. I think he can. Had a bit of a down year. I think there's a chance he falls further than this. Actually, the player that I have circled is going to be way down the board here. It's Jackson Slater from Sacramento State, a guy that just got a Senior Bowl invite. He's 6'4", 316 pounds. I really liked what he showed in pass protection. Had great hand placement, had a really solid anchor, and I thought it was a decent athlete that could get to the second level. He does need to improve his stance a little bit. I feel like he lunges. He does look a little bit out of control in the run game, and as a run blocker as a whole, I think he's very raw and unpolished. But this is a guy from an FCS school that is dominated. If he has a good Senior Bowl workout, I think could definitely be a riser on draft boards. I think Jackson Slater is being undervalued here. And at number 166, I think you could have a potential starter at guard for the next 4 to 5 years. I'm going to take Jackson Slater here at 166. Here in the sixth round, I think just kind of improving the interior of the defense could be an upgrade. Sebastian Joseph Day is a free agent. I think that's a move that I would like to see them potentially go out and address. So I'm going to go out and take a player that I like quite a bit. It's Joshua Farmer out of Florida State, a guy that's been a productive pass rusher throughout his career. 7 sacks in 2023. He's got a really good size and length combination. 6'3", 318, long arms, great size on the inside. He hits with pop and power. That his hands definitely hit hard. He does need to improve at disengaging with blockers. I thought he got lost on counter runs at times, but as a potential rotational third defensive tackle, I don't hate this move in the slightest. I think Joshua Farmer could be a nice pickup here for the Tennessee Titans. Our final pick here is at number 190. I think we're just going to take a rotational corner guy. They hit on Jarvis Brownlee last year. He really developed into a nice corner for them. Arguably the second best rookie corner behind Quinyon Mitchell. So I like taking another flyer on one of these guys, and a player that I thought really impressed me on my tape study of him was Western Kentucky's Upton Stout. Started his career at North Texas. His short area burst, change of direction, absolutely incredible. He brings physicality and is really solid in zone coverage. He's not the biggest guy in the world. 5'9", 182, probably a slot-only guy at the next level, but I like his playmaking ability. I think he moves around really well. We're going to take him here at 177. So there we have it for the Tennessee Titans. Took Cam Ward to be our quarterback of the future, added some weapons, boosted the offensive line a little bit while improving the defense in coverage, getting Jalen Reed, Jeffrey Bassa, and Upton Stout. Titans fans, would love to hear from you. What do you guys think about this mock draft? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Leave a comment on this video, and I'll see you guys for the Cleveland Browns mock draft on Thursday. Adios.